My light bulb moment was when I discovered the importance of using music in the English classroom, not just as a text, but as a tool to enhance the interest in other texts, namely poetry. Since then, music, as a form of English writing, which was never used in my classroom in any way, has now become as embedded as the novel or the film. What I do is, I use music as a text in itself, a foundation for short stories, and as an introduction to poetry. A few years ago, I was teaching Sylvia Plath as part of a TY poetry module. As normal, we studied her background, her upbringing, and her relationship with Ted Hughes. As we analysed her poetry, the students found it challenging to identify certain themes and understand the relevance of certain metaphors and references. So I tried a few different methodologies and differentiated work a bit more. It was now more student-led and more student-centred. One of the approaches I took was, I divided up the poem into its stanzas, and I'd give one stanza each to either a pair or to a group of four. I then have them analyse that stanza, and they were going to teach the rest of the class about the stanza that they've been studying for 5 or 10 minutes. Things started to improve. They were able to recognise these more, but there was still no lively debate and lively discussion in the class. We needed lots of questions to get a conversation going. It was always very stop, start, stop, start. I wanted to fall in love with what they were doing. They were potentially going to have to do Sylvia Plath for the Leaving Cert. They were definitely going to have to study a poet and 5 or 6 of their poems for the Leaving Cert. I wanted them to get used to this and enjoy the experience that they were doing. It was a 7-week module, and it had to be a good foundation for TY English and for the Leaving Cert. Then I had my light bulb moment. We all enjoy music, regardless of who the artist is, whether it's Elvis, Linkin Park, Billie Eilish. They'll all use parts of their lives as inspiration for their songs, like poets do with poems. Went in with a new approach. I explained we're putting poetry on the back burner for a moment. We're going to try and interpret some music. I explained the background of Bruce Springsteen, the apple of his mother's eye, his tiredness as a teenager with New Jersey, and his troubled relationship with his father. We then analysed Dancing in the Dark. Again, I asked the students, like with Plath, are there any examples of him being depressed in this song? They said him waking up in the evening, going to bed feeling the same way, wanting to change his clothes, his hair, his face. But all of a sudden with this, they were now going that little bit deeper themselves with their own discussions. They were explaining why they felt him waking up in the evening was depressed. When Springsteen says he was going to bed feeling the same way, they were now giving ideas of what they felt the same way was. They were thinking for themselves, they were now engaged, they were loving it, they were debating with each other. Him wanting to change his clothes, his hair, his face. Why does he want to change his face? They were now up for it. Confidence and discussion was now back in the classroom. They felt reinvigorated. I asked the students to find a song by an artist that they liked, that deals with similar themes. One student offered Demi Lovato's Soap. In the song, Lovato apologises to her family, friends, and her future for relapsing. Again, momentum was now building in the class. The students were loving being the centre of their own learning. They were loving that they were bringing their ideas and their interests to the classroom, and it was on display for the 5-10 minutes. So, with that then, they now understood that this is about them, it's about discussion, and it's about bringing ideas to the table. So we went back to Plath. The students were now willing to trash out their ideas more. Dialogue was happening in the room. And since then, before I do certain poems, especially with Leaving Cert, I'll study a small bit of music as a warm-up first, just to get them engaged, to keep linking it back then afterwards. This poem we're going to do now today, guys, it's like Springsteen, or it's like Liam Gallagher, or it's like whoever. We're going to see part of their life in this poem. They are sharing these experiences with us so that we can also grow from them